Hey YouTube, this is Zach with AchillesFinancial, and today I am bringing you to another stock pick. Today I want to talk about Diodes Inc., or the ticker symbol for that is DIOD. And this is a company that once again operates within my favorite sector, the semiconductors and semiconductor equipment segment. And the reason or the way that I found this company is that I was looking at the overall segment, and I was looking at it just using kind of this functionality right here. If you actually go into the markets and go into sectors and industry, I routinely will actually check on the semiconductor and semiconductor equipment, just because I do own shares of TSM. I do own shares of UMC, which is up here as well. And then I play the options chain on AMD as well as NVIDIA, probably at least once a month. So when I'm looking at this information and I'm trying to make some of the decisions, I actually went to the research team ratings, and I'll routinely kind of look at and see kind of what are people looking at, why are they making those decisions, as well as I like to look at the market cap. And some of the reasons why I look at the market cap is you can see some of the multiples that these companies trade at in terms of PE ratios. And the top performers trade at pretty high PE ratios, or price to earnings ratios, with NVIDIA kind of being my superstar. You can see them here trading at a slight premium of 86.5 times earnings. And then you can see that AMD, they've actually increased because they had a really good day today, coming up another 6%. You can see 6.5% here with them climbing additionally after hours. It's been a pretty great day for them. And so when I was looking at it by market cap, I was trying to kind of basically figure out, okay, what are some of the smaller players in this game and how can I benefit off that? So if we're looking at the price to, or the market cap, I actually went out and I found Diodes. So I was just scrolling through here, kind of making sure and saying, well, what am I looking for? And you can see that it's got a small market cap as well as it's got the accumulate. So that means that someone is interested in this company. So I go in and I look at the company, and as you can see, they are on a green day. They're kind of breaking that trend as well, kind of where they've been over the past 5 days. You can see that they've been on the up and up and then kind of breaking out. So if they've already gone up nearly 9% just in the past 5 trading days, then where does that place them for us? What does that mean in terms of going forward, and why am I still bullish on the stock? Well, the very first thing is that compared to their peers, they really do have a small market cap, and this is an industry that is expected to grow just exponentially. And for a company like Diode, I really think that they are going to be in the right place at the right time. So similar to a UMC or similar to a TSM, they are on the manufacturing side. So what they do is they go in and they actually manufacture the computers, the computer peripherals, communications equipment, and some of the other similar electronic products that would be utilized for that. And this is an industry that is just going to continue to explode. And because of that reason, because of that capability, that's one of the reasons that I'm a huge fan of the overall capabilities of that market. So again, I'm a big semiconductor bull. What I am looking at here, and the same way that I called UMC before they had their blow up, is if we look at some of the fundamentals in terms of, is this a good company? You can see that we've already seen a lot of growth over the past few years. But what I want to look at is from a balance sheet perspective. Our cash is going up, so they have a lot of cash on hand in the third quarter. That's good. However, the debt is going up. So what happened to where the cash went up, the debt went up, and as you can see, the total equity stayed about the same the whole time? Well, today, or rather earlier last week, so as you can see through a series of news outlets, they've actually had a lot of positive coverage lately, with Truist Securities initiating a buy rating at $84, as well as a number of other companies initiating buy ratings following a really strong earnings report. And when we look at the earnings report that you can see here, then they had a nice beat here. It wasn't anything spectacular, but you can see that this is a positive trend going forward, despite the fact that this hasn't been their best year. So everything is on the up and up. So if that's the case, then why do I like them so much? And the reason for that is because I think they're going to continue to grow. I think that when they bring in more income, they actually make more money for it because they have a pretty strong gross margin. And at the same time, if you look at some of these valuations compared to their peers, they're trading at a bit of a discount. And as I'm sure that you know, whenever we see this, this is our time to buy. So when we're looking at price to earnings, when we're looking at price to sales, as well as price to book, you can see that they're trading at a pretty significant discount in two of these metrics compared to their peers in the same industry. However, on the profitability side, they're still very, very profitable. And the reason that I like this profitability, even though it's not quite the same as like an NVIDIA or an AMD, is because they're still showing that growth. And you can see that represented here on the growth rates, where from an EPS perspective, so this is how the shareholder benefits, they're still growing at 29%. However, you can see that the revenue, it's strong, but it's not monumental like we've seen from the overall industry. So why are you saying, hey, Zach, why is this so great compared to all these other companies such as an NVIDIA, such as a UMC or a TSM? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because the reason that I like this so much is if we go back to the size of the company, this is not a huge company compared to some of those big super growth style companies. And when we look at some of the capabilities here, this PE ratio in particular is a huge discount because it means it's a less expensive stock, but there's also a lower growth expectation. So you're able to kind of trade in and build that over time. On the other half of this, I also think that this is a company that in the future, depending on how they grow, depending on how they do, they could potentially be purchased by someone else in the sector. So this is some of the reasons why I'm a huge fan of Diodes and DIOD. So I'm looking to build a position in this stock. I've got a position in UMC. I'd like to build out what I have in TSM, but it's already kind of trading at a premium. So this is one that I'm going to be looking at, or if I can't build, one thing that I'm not a huge fan of right now because they are coming off of a 8% gain is some of the options. And you can kind of see some of that here, just even some of these farther out ones, they can get pretty expensive. But just from some of the capabilities here, I'm looking at them. I don't know if I found one that I would say is a spectacular investment yet, but I'm definitely going to continue watching them. I think the better play here is holding the shares though, because this is a company that I am bullish in the long term on. So this is what I'm looking at. These are some of the stocks that I'm watching. Feel free to check them out, and if you think they're worthwhile, then build a position. Although I am not a financial advisor, this is just my opinion. So let me know in the comments below some of the stocks, particularly in this sector, that you may be watching. And if you found this content helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks everyone. Talk to you later. Bye.